Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to you. Very good evening to you, to the New York Knicks, and to Miles McBride. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, big win from the New York Knicks. A much-needed win from the New York Knicks. They defeated the Houston Rockets 116-103. And you know, the game didn't go necessarily as planned, if there was a plan. The Knicks played a good first quarter, came out good during the first quarter. That was one of our keys to the game, that the Knicks had to come out to a good start. Then they went up 17 in the second quarter. Lost, they didn't lose the lead, but they lost some momentum and let the Houston Rockets get back into the game, and it was a close game at halftime, ladies and gentlemen. Then the Knicks came back. They went up 9 in the third quarter. Then they ended up losing the lead. Derrick Rose did not play in the second half, twisted his ankle, so Miles McBride gets the start. And ladies and gentlemen, I do not believe that Miles McBride came out in the second half. I don't know. I'd have to check the final numbers, but I think he played the entire second half. Tom Thibodeau wanted his defense. He wanted his shooting. And ladies and gentlemen, he wanted his ability to facilitate on the floor. Miles McBride with 9 assists tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers from Miles McBride. He also had 4 steals. Very, very good game from Miles McBride. And I know my buddy, Coach Kramer, is happy and feels good about what Miles McBride did tonight. In the fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen, the young guys dominated. Emmanuel Quickley had a great fourth quarter. Mitchell Robinson had a great fourth quarter. Miles McBride kept the ship steady. And guess what? Julius Randle kind of stepped aside and let those guys ball. Something that a lot of people are not sure if Randle is ready to do. Now, it's easy to do it in a game when you're winning and you're up 13, 14 points. It is. But he did it tonight. He let the young guys go ahead and ball. And they pulled it out. Great shooting from Emmanuel Quickley in that fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's a lot of people that question his shot selection. I'm one of them. But he played a really good game in the fourth quarter. Let's take a rundown or take a look at the box score in this basketball game. The New York Knicks were led by Evan Fournier with 23 points. Evan Fournier did not play down the stretch of the game. Those rights were reserved for Emmanuel Quickley and Miles McBride at the guard spots. But he did play 27 minutes, 23 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. Shot 66.7% from the field and 50% from the three-point line. So we got a good game from Evan Fournier. The previous game, we got a good game. The previous game versus Houston, we got a good game from Evan Fournier. And we needed it tonight with so many guys out and Derrick Rose going out in the first half. Needed Evan Fournier to have a big game, and he had one. Julius Randle had an okay game. He didn't shoot great from the field, only 33% from the field overall. He did shoot 37.5% from the three-point line, but Randle had 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Emmanuel Quickley, 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Miles McBride, again, 15 points, 9 assists, and 4 steals. Mitchell Robinson, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks. Had a major second half for the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Major second half. The Houston Rockets, they were led in scoring by Daniel Tice. And I was a little bit frustrated in the first half of this game because I couldn't understand why Daniel Tice was pump faking Nerlens Noel or Mitchell Robinson and going off the dribble. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Why is Daniel Tice breaking us down off the dribble? I was like, what's up? I was afraid it was going to be a bad sign for the night. He had 22 points and 10 rebounds to go along with 2 blocks. Jayshawn Tate, 20 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Garrison Matthews had 17 points and 7 rebounds to go along with 1 assist. Kenyon Martin Jr., a few big dunks on the night. 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And then Josh Christopher, he had 14 points and 3 assists. So those are the numbers, ladies and gentlemen, for the New York Knicks as they pull off a win versus the Houston Rockets, 116-103, a much-needed win as the New York Knicks snap their 4-game losing streak. Snap a 4-game losing streak, and they're heading to Boston for what's surely to be a tough matchup. But I am glad, I am satisfied with this win, and now comes the big question. How do you find consistent minutes for Miles McBride after having a showing like tonight? Now, you can rest assured he's not going to drop 15 points and 9 assists every night, right? But he plays good defense. He's shown the ability to be strong with the basketball. He's shown the ability to facilitate. He's shown the ability to get other people involved, right? Obviously, when we play tougher competition, it's going to be tougher for him, but that's like any other guard in the league. How do we find minutes for this young man? And another thing that, we talked about it during the game preview, it's all over the wall, written in pink spray paint. Kemba Walker's gone. On a night when the Knicks were, not only were we losing guards to COVID protocol, Derrick Rose does not play in the second half, and Kemba Walker doesn't even sniff a piece of dust that's on the floor. That's all that you need to know there. Spree, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm better now. But man, my first, I know what we should really talk about, but honestly, there's one thing that I had on my mind. If we lost that game, who let Evan Fournier take the technical free throw?
I guess they go by the percentages. Whoever's got the best free throw percentage.
Man, the way he was shooting him in that game, man, and I know he got hot and had a nice little stretch, but I would, at that point in the game, Sim, I did not want him to take that free throw.
I mean, I said to myself, he's probably going to miss him, and he did, but what are we going to do, man? What are we going to do? At least the Knicks, he played a nice game tonight, a decent game.
Yeah.
Right, 23 points on the night. Defense spotty as usual. That's something that we're going to have to get used to, because for as long as he's here, well, I think we're already used to it. You know what I mean? But at least tonight, you can justify him being in the game because he was scoring, right? If, when he's scoring, you can justify him being out there despite his lack of defense. When he's not scoring,
right?
What's the sense?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my biggest takeaway is that I think Deuce McBride needs to start. My eyes, I know it's only been 2 games of watching him, but I can't. My eyes see what I see, and I see a guy who's, in my opinion, he's the best defender on the team, and I'm impressed with his passing. I'm not saying he's a great passer, but he's a good passer. Mm-hmm. I mean, Sim, he was running the show really well.
Mm-hmm. He was. And
I think he's got to start.
But let me ask you this. I mean, Well, I'll say this. At the beginning of the season, when Kemba was going to be the starting guard, and we talked about, okay, if Kemba goes out, who starts? I was a proponent of starting Miles so that Derrick Rose could stay on the bench, and you maintain that bench rotation, right? Because I knew he could play defense and hit threes. So I was like, if he can do that, that's all that you would need in that lineup. Obviously, since then, everything has changed. If you can, or do you go with Derrick Rose and let him continue to marinate and get some seasoning off the bench as you go with Quickly, Grimes, and Miles McBride? You dig what I'm saying? And then maybe even, at that point, though, you got to figure out, all right, when RJ gets back, he comes back into the starting lineup, right? If you have Rose or McBride in the starting lineup, I'm sure everybody wants Evan Fournier to come out of the starting lineup, right? And so you would make room. Say you got Rose, RJ, Burks, Randall, and Nerlens Noel starting, and then off the bench, if you're looking at IQ, Miles McBride, then it's going to be either Quentin Grimes or Evan Fournier. Bottom line is somebody's got to go or just sit at the end of the bench. Miles McBride can play defense. Quentin Grimes could play defense. I would rather see them, if you want to start them, if you want to start Miles McBride, hey, you give it a go. Why not? See what he can do. But
yeah,
one of those guys, somebody's got to come out and go to the end of the bench. Is it Fournier? Do you keep Grimes on the end of the bench? Thibodeau has some tough decisions to make coming up. Obviously with the COVID protocol, it's going to be a couple of games, but he's got some tough decisions to make.
He does, but let me just tell you why I think it's more important that McBride starts than anyone, because the ball pressure at the point guard position. I know Burks. I wanted him. He's an emergency starter because he needed to cover that position. But I don't really. I was saying that because I love Burks. I call him MJ. He's not really MJ, and he drives me nuts too now. But Burks can go back to what he was. We can keep Rose and Quickly together. I think Grimes is not ready to start yet. I think you can still give Grimes the minutes off the bench. I don't know, man. Miles McBride is. Look, it's just 2 games, but I see intelligence. I see quickness, like quick. We have a quick athletic player that we don't have on this roster. So, I don't know, man. The shot's been good. The passes have been good. I know we played the Houston Rockets. I'm not trying to overhype it. I'm just saying in my opinion, he saved the season tonight. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, the ISO Randalls at the end of the half, I was not happy to be only up 6 in. I know you weren't.
Of course not. We were up 17 points. Definitely wasn't. But again, the thing that I'll say is, coming down the stretch, and of course we were playing the Houston Rockets, but a lot of people ask the question about whether or not Randall can play with a point guard that's going to have the ball in his hands and be able to facilitate and create for other people. But you're seeing down the stretch of the game, he was off the ball. He let those guys do their thing. Now, it's easy to do that when you're up 13 against the Houston Rockets. Can he do that when, the game is tied or you're down 2 or you're up 2 against the Boston Celtics? You know what I mean? And can Tom Thibodeau do it?
By the way, McBride had 0 turnovers.
0 turnovers, right.
That's pretty good.
Right.
That's pretty good.
And B-Baller for real said Randall was on the bench when we went off. He was on the bench, but when he came into the game with about 4 minutes left, it continued to be Miles McBride and Emmanuel Quickly doing work, finding Mitchell Robinson. If you look down the stretch in those 4 minutes of play, it was still those two guards finding Mitchell Robinson or finding their 3-point shot or finding other players. And it's not like he went and said, hey, give me the basketball. Let me do this. Let me do that. When it came to him, he took his shots.
No, I agree. I'm just talking about the 2 possessions to end the half. I didn't like them.
No. I was talking to B-Baller for real on that one.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'll just say this. When Deuce sat, Houston went on a run. That's all I know. But I'm with you, man. Randall was fine later in the game. But I'll say this. Mitchell Robinson, we use Mitchell Robinson properly. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm not saying he's supposed to be 8 for 8 sim, but, like, it's nice to have a guard that can actually give him the easy alley-oops. I mean, I'm not asking Mitchell Robinson to shoot 3-pointers here. I'm asking him to just be in position to put the ball and dunk it.
Right.
And the one play that drove me nuts with Mitch, as good of a game as Mitch had tonight, the one play that drove me nuts, I'm sure it drove you nuts. How about the rebound that Taj had to come all the way across? Mitch was lost.
Spree bringing that up. I mean, that points to, and, we hate, ladies and gentlemen, to bring out, something like this on a night when you get a win. But it points to the awareness, the core awareness of some of our players on the floor, right? The dude, whoever it was, shot an air ball, and Mitch is still boxing out, and at the last minute sees, oh, snap, there's an air ball. Where you got to be, I'm touching my man, I'm seeing the ball. I'm touching my man, I'm seeing the ball. And, that points to some of just the court awareness, game awareness of our team. But, despite it, we got the win. But, yeah, that made me mad.
Because, like, I went off on Mitch whenever we played the Warriors because I was so mad with the screens. And I need to go back and watch if he said good screens tonight. Like, I hold Mitchell Robinson to a high standard because before he got hurt last year, and you know this, he probably played his best few games before he got hurt last year, and he was playing at a level that, like, to me was like, I'm not saying he was a top 5 guy. I'm realistic, but he was playing at a high level. Like, he has to eliminate the awareness stuff, Sim. Like, that's the little stuff. And, yeah, we need good guards to find him. But if he can just spatially be aware, he'd be such a better player. Right. And I know that's like, well, that's a huge part of the game. But I don't know how we get that out of him, but we got to get it out of him. But anyways, man, I'm going to let other callers call. I appreciate you giving me time. I'll just say this, man.
Let me ask you this one question,
if our season turns around, remember this game. That's all I got, man.
Let me ask you this one question, though. Just one question before you go. Let's say McBride does get plenty of playing time. I'm thinking he would probably get the playing time in the second unit, and then, maybe as time went on, Tom Thibodeau would elevate him to the first unit. Now, given everything that's going on with COVID, and now Derrick Rose tweaked his ankle, he may be starting against Boston on Saturday. Right? He just may be starting on Saturday. And if he does and he continues to perform well, then Tom Thibodeau is going to say, I'm leaving it the way it is, right? But But if he is getting significant playing time on the bench, in the starting unit, whatever it is, how much do you think his awareness will help to unlock Mitchell Robinson and his play? I mean, we've seen it some tonight because, like any player in the league, and I don't care what anyone says, you can say, well, you're a professional, and even if you're not touching the basketball, you've got to do it on the defensive end. You got to do the little things and grab the rebounds and so on and so forth. But any player, if you're just running up and down the court grabbing rebounds and you barely ever get a touch on the offensive side, you get a little bit frustrated, especially if you feel like you're coming free and guys are missing you. Right? Now, if you get someone like Deuce or Quickly or whoever that's finding Mitch in some areas and helping him to get some points and to have some plays, now the energy comes back on the other side of the ball. You know what I mean? And
Right.
maybe we start to see a little bit of a different Mitch out there who's more engaged in the I don't want to say he's not engaged, but even more engaged than he has been in the basketball game with a little bit more energy. So we'll see.
You're right. You're right. I mean, like a lot of people say, what's the difference from last year? In my opinion, there's been a lot of issues, but let's be real here. As much as people hated Elfrid Payton, he brought the ball pressure that we don't have. Miles McBride can do that for this team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So he would bring that back. And let's be real here. Mitch and Noel last year were way better than they were this year. And that's injury. You could call it whatever you want. Like you said, that may get us back to fully awareness New York Knicks defense. So I don't know, man. You're right. Tibbs has got decisions, but maybe the whole COVID thing will just let it play out naturally. So I think McBride and Grimes are exciting me because they're quick players, and I think they can help Randall because Randall, at times, you know this, Sim, he's slow. Mm-hmm. He needs quick players to make quick decisions so that Randall can have less pressure on him and he can just play within the flow. And then he said, oh, okay, I can take us there because I got the right people around me. That's all I got. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I want Randall to win.
Okay, yeah,
I want Randall to win a championship.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Randall's the perfect player. I believe in him, but I also understand he does a lot of things wrong. And the way to get him to be right is to get the right people around him, and also he's got to fix himself. But it's a process, man. I hope McBride is the missing puzzle piece. I hope Tibbs saw something because I saw something, but we'll see.
I tell you what,
maybe I'm overreacting.
Listen, if he didn't see something, then I'll question Tibbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he did. It's the only reason why you would start him in the second half and not Emmanuel quickly, right? Because you've seen something and you're like, okay, I like what this guy is bringing to the table. I'll start Miles McBride instead of quickly. So that's encouraging right there, in my opinion.
And you agree that Burks is better off the ball.
Yeah.
Quickly's better off the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Derrick Rose can play off the ball. I'm not saying Derrick Rose can still play, but ideally at his age, you don't want him to have to give. He's not a great defender at his age. He's not.
Yeah. I think what will probably happen if, let's just say Derrick Rose is coming back, is able to play versus Boston. I think Tom Thibodeau will give Derrick Rose the first right of refusal. I think he will. All out of respect of him being a veteran in the league and Miles McBride being a rookie, I think he'll come to him and say, hey, if you want to start, I'll start you. But if he's thinking about starting McBride, but, I'd like to start McBride because of this, that, and the third. Knowing Derrick Rose, he'll probably be like, go ahead, coach, do what you got to do. But I think Tom Thibodeau would probably give Derrick Rose the first right of refusal. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say this. Sam, you being a coach, let me ask you one last thing before I let you go.
Yeah.
Being a coach, I'm so hard on Mitch with screens. Do you think Mitchell Robinson will set better screens for a guy like McBride because McBride will actually pass him the ball?
I think it would motivate him to. Part of it, some of it, I think, is habit. He maybe doesn't know how to set a great screen. Plus, he likes to slip the screen. Wherever he was taught to slip that screen, it's become ingrained in him, right? So he likes to slip the screen and hope that the guard can find him slipping that screen. So he barely ever touches anyone on those screens. Mm-hmm. But maybe if him and McBride talk and say, hey, if you set a really good screen, get me loose, there's no way it can be stopped. We'll see. But I do think having a guard that can find him will motivate him in other parts of his game, keep him engaged. And we need that.
And McBride also was picking guys up full court.
Yes.
Kemba can't do that. Derrick Rose can't do that at this age. Quickly can, but I just let him play off the ball. That's just not. He's as much as he can pass. He's gotten better. He's not a point guard. I don't think Burks. He's my guy. I call him MJ because he is a clutch player at times, although he's streaky. Let him come back on the bench. yeah, we're going to have decisions when we get RJ back, Toppin back. But like you said, man, with the COVID thing, no way McBride can't play. He's got to play heavy minutes, in my opinion, for this team to – because Sim, you look at our schedule right now. We got to take – I'm not taking any game lightly, but you look at the next 15 games, in my opinion, this season, every game matters, but these next 15 games, we got to really take advantage of it and get heated up right now. So that's all I got, man. I got nothing left. I appreciate you giving me all the time, man, and I'll talk to you on Saturday.
Appreciate you, Spree. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Miles McBride with a very good game tonight. Very good game. And obviously, a lot of people are talking. And I'm sure Tom Thibodeau is listening. I'm anxious to hear Tom Thibodeau in the press conference. We'll get to that, a little bit later when it's available to us. But I do want to look at the numbers behind tonight's game. The Knicks won the rebounding battle. That's something we talked about in the game preview, that the Knicks had to win tonight's rebounding battle, and they did, 45-43. 25 assists for the New York Knicks, 29 for the Rockets still, right? But the Knicks had 25 assists on the night, more than what we normally average. We normally average 20 to 21 assists. Had 25 tonight. 8 steals for the Knicks, 4 for the Houston Rockets, 6 blocks for the New York Knicks, 4 for the Rockets. The Knicks only 11 turnovers. The Rockets had 17. We knew that they're a team that will turn the basketball over, and the Knicks had to capitalize on those turnovers, and they did tonight. The Knicks 47% from the field. The Rockets 50% from the field. The Knicks shot 47% from the three-point line, ladies and gentlemen. And normally when the Knicks shoot well from the three-point line, they have a chance to win. Tonight there was 17 for 36. Not a crazy number, a decent number. You remember they started the season shooting crazy three-point shots. Maybe it's starting to even itself out. And if they can shoot a high percentage, it'll work even better. 84% from the free throw line for the Knicks, 80 for the Houston Rockets. The Rockets had 46 points in the paint, the Knicks 40. 26 second chance points for the Knicks, the Rockets 14. And the Rockets only had 4 fast break points, 4. The Knicks had 8 fast break points on the night. Again, the Knicks were led by Emmanuel Quickley with 24 points. Daniel Tice led the Houston Rockets with 22 points. Mitchell Robinson led the Knicks in rebounds with 9, and Daniel Tice led the Houston with 10 rebounds, 9 assists for Miles McBride, 9 assists for Eric Gordon for the Rockets. Mitchell Robinson led the Knicks with 3 blocks, and Daniel Tice, again, led the Houston Rockets with 2 blocks. Daniel Tice making his bid for All-Star or something. I don't know. Anyway, let me get to a caller. Call you live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
What's going on, Sam? What's up, everybody? This is KB from the Bronx.
KB, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling tonight after a much-needed win?
I'm feeling tremendous. And first, I want to give a shout-out to the veteran, Taj Gibson. He showed Julius Randle exactly how you play a perfect game of power forward in this offense. He had the open looks. If Randle would have hit a few more, he played inside out. He made the right decisions. He set good screens. That is how you play a perfect game of power forward and be an all-star in this offense.
Okay.
Next is the obvious. Miles McBride is the best guard on this team, and he needs to start immediately. He did everything right. I am not a believer of rookies. I didn't expect a rookie to come in and save us. I kind of was on the same wave as Steph. Rookies, whatever, but this is different. He showed that, the G League thing is just not a fluke. He can play controlled. He could 0 turnovers, just make the right decisions. He played a perfect game of basketball, and this was not an accident. And he gave the credit to Tibbs and the coaching staff.
Yeah. So
they're doing something right. I'm going to shut my mouth as far as, Tibbs or they're doing the right thing. This young man needs to start, all politics aside. If we really want to talk that the best man and to put in the work, these people need to start. Forget the politics, forget the agents, forget all of that. Evan Fournier needs to sit down. He played a good game today. He scored it. If he was doing this the whole time, we wouldn't have a problem. But we know this is the once in a blue moon. He still didn't play good defense, Mm-hmm. The young players are better. It's apparent. We've seen enough. I think, I can't speak for everybody. I've seen enough. Let them start.
let me ask you this. Do you want to at least see him, and he may start against the Boston Celtics with Derrick Rose having an ankle injury.
Oh, Derrick Rose
right?
faked that injury.
Do you at least want to see him give this kind of production? I don't want to say give 15-9. That's not necessary to me for him to give 15-9. But do you want to see him be competent against serious basketball teams in the league?
Yes, and I think he can.
Before you say
it's just something sharp about him.
Okay, all right.
Plays perfect defense. Like he's just sharp.
Okay.
And he's a very good shooter. I think he can do better than anything else that's on the team.
Well, I mean, we haven't been getting much from that position, so yeah, you're probably right. He can, at least he's going to he'd give us defense from that position. You know what I mean? And if all else fails, you can fall back on defense. You know what I mean? But I want to see
exactly at the worst.
At the worst, you can fall back on defense. I still would like to see him. Before I just anoint him, because we did it last year with Quickly. Remember, anytime Quickly had a really, really good game, people anointed him. Yep, he's the guy. He's the starter. He's the future point guard.
He did step up when nobody else could and would at times.
No. I agree. I'm just saying, before I anoint him, just like the same thought process that I took with Quickly last year. Before I anoint him, I just want to see him do it consistently versus,
that's
very
the rational way to think about it. You're right. You're right, ultimately, but God, he looks good.
But he looks good. He looks good. He looks good. This is the thing this is where he looks good, right? He doesn't do too much.
Hasn't looked bad yet.
Right? He doesn't do too much. He understands when to penetrate, when to get the ball out of his hands. There were a couple of times when he over dribbled, but even when he over dribbles and take a shot, it looks different than Quickly's. It looks like a controlled shot. When Quickly sometimes looks out of control.
Right, it's the eve, right.
He has it,
and even that it was with he got the ball in bad positions and he tried to make something happen.
Right.
Like there wasn't anything to be mad at.
Right, and he has a good feel for the basketball
that injury,
game.
To be honest with you.
I mean, I don't know. But Miles McBride has a good feel for the basketball game and just kind of understanding it and what to do. You know what I mean? And I do think, and here's an area of coaching, and people may disagree, but I think Tibbs helped him out a little bit because he knows the horn set, I think, understands how to run it. And so they were running some horns, right? And that eased his transition out there. And it also, just gives the Knicks a little bit more that they can do out there on the floor besides, doing the same things over and over and over again. You know what I mean? But hey,
and Quickly plays very well off of him. It's Quickly's more natural fit because it's almost like he's kind of a Tyrese Maxey type of player.
Kind of. I mean,
but with better defense.
They're basically the same. Or who's kind of a Tyrese Maxey?
McBride with better defense.
Okay, all right. I mean, well, listen, Quickly's natural inclination is to shoot the basketball. You know what I mean? That's what he does. So, the more you can have him off the ball and have somebody on the ball that can facilitate and find him, that's going to benefit Quickly, and it's going to allow him to get into his rhythm. But hey, KB, I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you for the call.
Peace, Sam. Peace, everybody.
Peace. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we the Miles McBride train is loaded up, and people are ready to hand over the keys. I still like to see more, and I'm not doing this to diss Miles McBride. I think he played a wonderful game, and but we've seen him play twice. He played against the Warriors. He played well. Tonight he played well. I want to see him do it again. I don't wish any ill will towards Derrick Rose. He's my favorite player on the team. But if he is hurt, I want to see Miles McBride start against Boston, and I think he will. Who else you putting out there? You know what I mean? Quentin Grimes is hurt. RJ Barrett is hurt. You know what I mean? Derrick Rose, if that's the case, hurt. Kemba Walker's not getting off the pine. You know, what else you going to do? What else you going to do? Give me a call, ladies and gentlemen. 516-405-2246. I want to hear your take on tonight's win. Very, very good win for the New York Knicks. You know, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I don't say that enough. Because, you know, I just hope that people, if they like what they're seeing, will say, hey, I'm going to subscribe. But I guess I should probably say it more often. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you like what you're watching, hit that subscribe button right now. My man Sabby D in the building. What's up, Sab? What's popping with you, brother?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Sim?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I feel good. You know, the Knicks. I know it's just Houston. But we had to get a win. We were desperate for a win because if we lost to Houston tonight, then we play Boston on Saturday, and then Detroit at home, and they're on a 12-game losing streak. The pressure would have been mounting for that. The pressure would have been mounting for that Detroit game, and it would have been a little bit scary. So I'm glad we got this win. Hopefully, this sends us, this starts to turn our season around. You know what I mean? And we can go, I think we go to Boston. We can get us a win and then come home and play Detroit. And we do, you know, get into a stretch of our schedule where there should be some winnable games on that schedule.
Absolutely. We were definitely getting close to the panic button.
Close.
I know that
my finger was sitting on top of it. I hadn't pressed it yet, but it was sitting on top of it.
We had our finger on it for sure. Because I mean, just in the group chat, we're throwing trade scenarios and pre-negotiating deals back and forth, ready to pack dudes' bags and get them up out of here. So we were definitely. And we were starting to throw some darts at the front office and the coaching staff. So I'm glad that we got this win. It's definitely a confidence builder. I hate to delight in misfortune for people, especially when it comes to their health. Prayers up to Clyde Frazier. I got my eyes on that guy. You know, I got my prayers with that guy. Because you know, he's not a spring chicken. So I wanted to pull through. But the silver lining to this next man up mentality is that our young guys seem to be ready to answer the call at every given opportunity. It seems like Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride are prepared to step in and show us that, hey, listen, I can be a serious part of this rotation and a legitimate contributor to this team and affect winning. And that's what we saw tonight. So big congratulations to our guy, Deuce McBride. I want to give him a lot of love because everything I saw tonight was everything that we've been waiting for and wanting out of our guys for a long time. And I know that you know that I was looking forward to this game because I was waiting for an opportunity to give this kid some minutes and see what he could do for us. And it looked beautiful out there. I mean, even though their roster wasn't 100%. Ours wasn't either. And we had some strange rotations out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, we had Deuce, Quickly, Burks, Taj at the 4, and Mitch at the 5. And it worked a lot better than I would assume. But one thing that stood out to me was the reads that McBride was making and how he was able to facilitate and help everybody eat. It was beautiful, you know. And of course, IQ draining all those threes, you know, in the fourth quarter doesn't hurt. But I'm overjoyed to see a win like this come at a time like this because we really needed a confidence boost right now. And I feel like times like this where you see a rookie show out gives the rest of the roster a good reason to put some trust and faith in them in terms of chemistry when we go forward toward playing better teams in the future, and they might have to come into the rotation.
Yeah. I want to read out some games that we have coming up, and I want to get your opinion on can the Knicks start to string some wins together. All right, we play the Boston Celtics on Saturday at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
On the 21st, we play the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
Then we play the Wizards on the 23rd. On Christmas Day, we play the Hawks. Then we play the Minnesota Timberwolves. We play the Pistons again. We play OKC. Then there's Toronto, Indiana. We play Boston twice. We play the Spurs at home. Then we play the Dallas Mavericks, the Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the New Orleans Pelicans. Right? So we play a stretch of games over the next month that are really, really, really winnable. Really winnable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 games where, I mean, there are a lot of teams below 500 on this list. Okay, the Boston Celtics, I think they're 500 at the moment. Right? Let me just check the standings to be sure about the Boston Celtics. Yeah, they're 14-14 at the moment. The Pistons, they're on a 12-game losing streak. The Washington Wizards, they're 15-14, but they're on a 3-game losing streak at the moment. All right, the Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta is 14-14. They're playing, 500 basketball. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves, they are 13-15, a winnable game. The Pistons, once again, a winnable game. The Thunder,
Yes.
right? OKC, 8-19, one of the worst teams in the league. Right? Then the Raptors, they're below 500. The Pacers, they're below 500, although those are two teams that are going to play us tough no matter what. We already know that. Then we play the Celtics twice in a row. The Spurs are below 500. Okay, the Dallas Mavericks, they're 500. Then we play the Hawks again. They're 500. The Charlotte Hornets, right now, they're 16-14. Then the Minnesota Timberwolves again, they're below 500. The Pelicans, they're below 500. Okay? That's a stretch right there. We've got to capitalize on this stretch. We've got to capitalize.
Absolutely.
On this stretch. What do you think? Talk to me, man. Can we really capitalize over these 17 games? Can we do something like 12-5 or something like that? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I'm gonna go line by line with you. All right, because I've been waiting for this Celtics matchup since the season opener. Okay, and I'm glad that we got this win now. We go to play the Celtics. If we're not at full strength, I think we take that L. If we're not at full strength, I think we take that L. I think their roster is pretty healthy right now. I haven't heard any news about them being in protocols, but they seem like they've ironed out some of their issues that they had in the beginning of the season. And I don't think Jason Tatum forgot about how we were saying we had him in jail. So I think we're gonna have some trouble against the Celtics. It's not an automatic loss in my book, but we're gonna have to be on our A game to beat them. Okay.
Right.
The Wizards, the Pistons, I think we take that. Okay. So we're 1-for-1 so far. The Wizards, I think we take that one. Okay. The Hawks, we better take that one. I don't want to lose against the Hawks. And guess what? Even more than that Celtics matchup, I need Julius to show out against the Hawks. Because even though it's in our home arena, I didn't like those overrated chants. And I hope he hasn't forgotten about those overrated chants during the playoffs. I was hoping that he would show out against them in their home arena during the first matchup, but he had a rough game even though he pulled the W.
We got the win.
So I think
got the win.
So 4 games in, I think we're 3-1. Okay. If we lose that Celtics game, I think we win those next 3. Okay. The Timberwolves, You and I have been waiting on this matchup ever since Anthony Edwards said he was hoping for RJ to take the last shot last year during our last matchup. So I've been waiting for this one. Hopefully RJ is healthy and good to go, right? Because, buddy, I remember everything. I'm like an elephant, okay? So Timberwolves, we better win that one. Because not only that grudge I'm holding, I want us to show Cat why he wants to be a Knick. Okay. Then we play the Pistons again. I think we take that one again in Detroit. I don't think we're gonna have too much trouble with that one. Protocols notwithstanding. All right. So now we come against the OKC Thunder. I think we take that one as well. Those 3 road games against the Timberwolves, Pistons, and Thunder.
Yeah,
I think we take those.
Yeah, let me get to a super chat here. Baxwood Gritty, thank you for the super chat. He said, those games will be the defining moments of our season. All right, so instead of us hitting it, line by line, just tell me, do you agree with that statement? Will these games be the defining moment of our season? Because I had thought that the defining moment of our season was going to be later in late February going into March. Well, we have a month of some crazy basketball games, where every team is a slugfest. You know what I mean? Do you agree?
Backward Gritty is right.
Do you agree? Those games will be the defining moment of our season?
Backward Gritty is absolutely right. Because going into January, we're going to need to figure out who we are, what we are, and who's going to stick around and who's going to go, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I was really dead set on getting some sort of an assessment period for these young guys, because if we're going to be making moves prior to this trade deadline, I don't want to bundle our future into a trade that will compromise us going forward if we're not gonna make a real run in this postseason and get back into position to be in the postseason.
Right.
Because we have to claw our way back up the standings.
Yeah.
So Backward Gritty is absolutely right. These next games leading into January, from now until the 31st, crucial.
Crucial, no doubt. Crucial. Big shout out to Coach Kramer, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't remember, Coach Kramer came on to the show before the season began and talked to us about Miles McBride and why he thinks that he will be successful. And, I sent him a tweet earlier today. I said, Coach, I know you're proud of Deuce tonight. And he said, I'm very proud, and he's not surprised. He just needed an opportunity. And if you get a chance, ladies and gentlemen, go back, check out that conversation with Coach Kramer and myself and the rest of the panel as he talked about Deuce McBride. Coach Kramer is his high school coach. Clearly, he did a wonderful job with Deuce. All right. And, I'm going to talk to Coach and see if maybe he can come back and talk to us about, Deuce and what he's seen from him so far and what he might expect. I'll give him a holler. He's also coaching and he's the principal of his school. So, he's a busy man. I don't know if we can get him, but shout out to Coach Kramer, for teaching Deuce how to play basketball the right way. Ladies and gentlemen. Savvy, the Knicks play the Boston Celtics next. Right? You said that you think that's going to be a tough one for the New York Knicks. I tend to think that the Knicks kind of match up well. Obviously, there's a lot. The Knicks are missing a lot of guys due to COVID. Right? I want to ask you why you think it's going to be a tough one for the Knicks. I want to break down that game just a little bit. But before we get there, let me get to a phone call. All right? We'll take a couple of calls, and then we're going to get there. All right? Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
What's going on, Sam? It's Eric from Queens.
What you say your name was? What you say your name was?
Eric from Queens.
What's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I didn't care about how we played tonight. I just wanted to win. We 4-game losing streak. We needed to snap that ASAP. You know, I was really impressed with Miles, but what I was really most impressed about with him was his ability to read the game. You know, as a rookie, his ability to make the extra pass, slow it down, know when to pass, know when to shoot. You know, he was a bit jittery at times today, over dribbling, but that's normal for a rookie. But he came in, he steadied the offense. It was something that you don't really see much rookies do first year, especially from his caliber. So I think defensively he was amazing tonight, full court pressing, getting over fouled sometimes a little bit, but he knew how to make smart fouls. I didn't press the panic button tonight, even though when the Rockets had took a 2-point lead, I was damn near ready to press it. I was like, Lord, please. Lord, please.
I'm telling you,
Lord,
man.
Please. When the Rockets took that 2-point lead, I said, Lord, next, come on, get out of Houston. Get out of Houston. And, you know, we came through. Mitch was huge tonight. I know you were talking about our next game against the Celtics. I think we do match up, but they just beat the defending champs, and they're looking for vengeance. You know, open tonight was something I think they Celtics fans still think about. So I think they're going to come for some blood. I really do. They just beat the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, the only positive I can say about the Boston Celtics is they play tomorrow against the Warriors, so maybe that's a little positive for us. Maybe we can nick a win. But other than that, man, it's nothing really. I'm not looking too much into this game. It was even though it was the Rockets, we needed to win. So that's it. We just needed to win. That's it.
Yeah, we just needed it. I don't care who it came against, man. It could have came against the capital city go-go. I don't care. We needed a win. We had to get one, you know what I mean? We had to get one. But
what you think of, I had to ask you a question, but what you think of Mitch? I think he lost some weight. He looks a little better.
Well, you know, normally during the season, you know, once you're playing, you're going to lose a couple of pounds.
Right.
You know, if you have fat on you, you're going to lose a couple of pounds. You know, so maybe he is starting to lose some pounds. I think tonight it was just, found him. You know what I mean? And when you start to touch the ball a little bit, you know, you start to get involved into different parts of the game because, you know, you're feeling the ball, you're touching the ball, and you feel like you're part of what's happening and going on out there. And it's not to say when you're grabbing rebounds and blocking shots that you're not part of it. But when you get a couple buckets to go, you get a couple of big plays, you feel more part of what's going on. And that's important, especially to a young player.
Right.
You know, he played good tonight. Hopefully he can continue to play the same way, you know.
Yeah, what they say always in basketball, it's always about the next play or the next game. So that's what I'm looking forward to. We can do this against Boston, and I feel like we turned the corner. But until we can do it twice or the next play or the next game, then let's hope this is just a turning point. Yeah, I'm going to head out of here. Got work tomorrow, but I'm gonna catch you on Saturday.
All right. I appreciate you, bro. No doubt.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. Yeah, I tell my players all the time, Savvy, the most important play of the game is the next play. That's the most important play, always. Yeah. That's the most important play.
Short memory.
That's right. You got to have a short memory. You know, you just do. You just got to have a short memory.
I have two key X factors for our matchup against Boston.
Okay.
Right? Because I'm concerned about Derrick Rose. He has a sore ankle. I don't think he's going to turn around quick enough for us to play him on Saturday. Hopefully he does, right? But if we don't have him, then we're going to need Deuce to step up again. And I think he can. And conveniently, he hasn't played much before now, so they don't have too much film on him, right? So if he can at least give us, you know, a few buckets here and there, and then commit on defense like he always does, then I think we'll be in decent shape at the one, right? But our most important factor is this guy right here, okay? If you don't know who this is Clamps from Futurama, okay? if we bring clamps to the TD Garden, we have a very good chance at winning that game. If RJ is back and he can put Tatum back in jail, we have a very good chance of winning that game. One thing we cannot have is Tatum going off and letting Duke, the other Duke, go off. Jaylen Brown. One of them maybe. If both of them are hot that night, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And if Julius can give us the same production that he gave us tonight, hit shots, open the lanes up, draw the defenders, then we'll be in good shape to open up IQ. And if McBride is on the court and he makes reads as well as he was making them tonight, then he can feed Mitch again. And they don't really have a great answer for Mitch, especially not size-wise.
Right.
So I see a few ways that we could go about suppressing them and facilitating our own offense.
See, I think the Knicks really do match up well. Now, one of the issues we're going to have is if RJ Barrett's not there. Remember in the previous game, he played really, really well against Jason Tatum. If RJ Barrett's not there, we're going to miss that defensive presence on the floor against a guy like Jason Tatum. And it's not that RJ is going to shut him down. You know what I mean? I mean, Jason Tatum still, he didn't shoot a great percentage, but he still ended up getting his.
Yeah.
But he provides a significant defensive presence, you know, against some of these wing players. And if we're missing RJ Barrett, that's going to be tough. Quentin Grimes gives you some of that defensive presence against wing players. He's going to be out. So that's going to make it difficult. And we could be very, very short, like we were tonight.
Short-handed.
Very, very short-handed. You know?
If we, like, it wouldn't be as bad, but Knox is also out. And Knox has size, he has strength, you know, and he can drain a three. Like, we're running slim against the Celtics.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. And I spoke about this with Spree not too long ago, and ladies and gentlemen, give me a call, 516-405-2246. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions
Shout
on
to
tonight's
Spree.
game.
I like Spree.
You know, he talked about this being a blessing in disguise, you know, as far as players being out due to COVID protocol. And maybe with guys out, and, you know, you got Julius and you got Fournier out there, maybe this really does force them, I don't want to say get along, but maybe it forces them to really build that chemistry because now the lineup is tighter, right? You don't have as many guys to say, you know what, get him out, I'm going to put him in. You got to have these guys out there on the floor. I mean, you're talking about now only 3 guys coming off the bench. Emmanuel Quickly, Taj Gibson, and Mitchell Robinson. You know what I mean? So you're talking about an 8-man rotation. It forces these guys to play together, and maybe that chemistry starts to build because these other guys are out. You know what I mean? And, you know, so maybe it will be a blessing in disguise in that manner, you know, that you got to tighten and tighten that lineup up. You know what I mean? And it puts more responsibilities on the players that's on the floor. So now they're like, okay, you know what? If they were slacking, and I'm not saying this to give anybody any kind of excuse or anything like that. They shouldn't be slacking anyway. But if they were, you know, sometimes this type of a situation makes you say, damn, you know, I got to stop playing around. Let me get my stuff together. You know what I mean?
That's very true. We're definitely playing us or else ball out there. You know what I'm saying? If we don't get it done, then who will type mentality. And that can be a very unifying factor going through these hard times in the season together, right?
It can.
And the good thing is, like we give Fournier a lot of grief about how he's been producing, but some of the things I saw him doing tonight were very helpful and instrumental in getting us in rhythm. Okay, even though down the stretch, he became more scarce, right? I think if we go out there and get to a strong start, give ourselves a cushion, and then find ways to rotate this roster and get good matchups, then we'll be able to struggle through the runs that they go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just wish, like, man, like OB's rim running, like that could be a major factor if we had him in there.
Right.
You
Well,
feel me?
listen, you know what I mean? I think the thing is, during this time, if you start to get guys really, really comfortable out there, like Deuce, if Deuce is going to be on the floor, which I think he's really earned his time, and him and Grimes, that's why we say Coach Thibodeau has some serious decisions to make. But they start to get comfortable, and then you add in, Obi with these guys, it could be, it could be something good. Let's listen to Tom Thibodeau and see what he has to say about guys stepping up and playing. This is Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen, with his post-game interview tonight. Let's go ahead and give it a listen.
I mean, Miles, I know second half, and what is the best part of tonight?
Well, I think you look at his development, and he's a strong two-way player. Plays with great energy on both sides of the ball, guards multiple positions, can guard up, can guard down, unselfish, gets into the paint, sprays it out. If you sag off him, he's going to shoot. He can make, he can finish. Great worker. So.
With Derek, is that a day-to-day kind of thing?
Yeah, just tweaked his ankle.
Was he bothered going into the game slightly, or?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you saw him laboring in that.
Yeah. So, periodically it flares up on him, and then we got to adjust from there.
I mean, we talked before about having to adapt and play with different guys and different combinations. Just what you saw from the guys tonight, what you got?
Yeah, no, I thought Tosh went in there. That's what you love about Tosh. Like his readiness, professionalism. Went in there and played the power forward position. He's been playing the center. I thought Mitch gave us great minutes. Jules made big plays on the backside. Quick hit big shots. So Evan got going early. We had a lot of guys step up, and obviously we got to continue to work defensively.
Miles, and quickly with that whole quintet in the fourth quarter. I mean, how great was that?
Yeah, it was, and they got going. So we ran with them a little bit longer, which I think it was good. In some ways, it gave Julius more rest, and then it keeps him fresh down the stretch. But I thought Mitch's activity was huge for us.
We talked about the affection you have for some of your veteran guys that you've known all the time. When you play guys like McBride, who had 32 minutes every play, come into a game quickly, the way he plays energetic, are you nervous, or are you?
No, I'm not nervous because I see him every day. And so I always feel when you work the way Quick works, Deuce, Quentin, those guys, they're killer workers. I see it every day in practice. So I always feel when they get their opportunity, they're going to be ready to roll. And so they live in the gym. It's obvious. And those type of guys always get better.
At this point, going to Boston, the players aren't with you. Do you expect them to be ready in Boston, or it looks like a
Yep.
shot?
Whoever we have, let's go. Let's go.
Do you think it's possible some of the COVID guys could join you in Boston? Or?
I don't know, Dr. Berman, we're going to leave that to you. No, whatever the medical, and obviously they have to go through protocol when they get cleared by the league and our medical people. Safety's first. So whatever we have to do, we got to do.
It's good. Thanks.
Yep, thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is the New York Knicks YouTube page. For more Knicks videos, make sure that you subscribe and get as many Knicks videos as you want. And we're talking about post-game interviews, pre-game interviews, shoot-around interviews, and special content from the New York Knicks. Let me get to this caller here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Mike from North Carolina. What's going on, man?
What's going on with you, Mike? How you feeling about tonight's game, man?
Sim, the fourth quarter, the ball moved. The ball moved.
Mm-hmm.
McBride and Robinson look like they've been playing since God knows when. Because Robinson looked like he had far more energy than he had in the previous 4 or 5 games at least. The ball moved. That was refreshing. I was hoping maybe they might do some trapping on defense. Just a thought. But the ball moved in that fourth quarter, Sim.
Yeah, and maybe they will start to do some more trapping on defense. You got to have the defenders to do it. So if you're playing with Deuce and you have Grimes out there and you have RJ out there, you can do some trapping on defense.
The ball moved. I can't.
Hey, I hear you, bro. I hear you. I know the ball moved. The ball moved. Hopefully this is the start of something.
No stagnant half-quarter or half-court offense. The half-court offense, honestly, it reminded me of a playoff series back in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, that the Washington Bullets played with somebody else because they literally, that's all they did. When they inbounded and they got past the half-court line, it's like they literally stopped and set up their offense, man. I was like, oh, no. And even the broadcasters knew it. That's what the Knicks look like or have been looking like. But then again, Julius Randle, I'm assuming trying to be a team player, just giving up his opportunities because it's like looking at night and day. Because I want the Julius Randle from last year. I mean, who's this guy? I mean, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, I do and don't want the Julius Randle from last year. Obviously, I want him to shoot very efficient from the field and to make good plays for us. But I actually want to have a guard that is going to relieve the pressure from Julius Randle and just let him score and not have to be a facilitator 100% of the time or, 75% of the time. You know what I mean? Here and there, you know what I mean? And in a pinch, you can go to Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? But you want to have your guards facilitating for other people because Randle can get a shot. So really getting other people going, other people into the flow, spitting the ball out or spraying the ball out to other people. You know what I mean? And then Randle can get his touches and get his buckets, because that he can create a shot. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Yeah. Concerning Mr. McBride, you think we might see him again?
Oh yeah, because these guys not coming back off COVID by Saturday, in my opinion.
Okay, and to that point, the Lakers signed Isaiah Thomas under the hardship rule. Are you familiar with that rule, and how does it affect any team bringing guys up from the D League? Because this is going to be very interesting, and I really hope no other Knicks players are infected. I hope nobody else is infected, period, in the league.
Right. So that hardship rule, I think I don't know all of the particulars, but I believe that it's, when you have a player, you lose a player, and, they can't come and play for you, and then, you're just down a bunch of players. You get this hardship rule where you can sign a player probably to a veteran's minimum or whatever it is, or you can, like, for example, if this specific player, he's on your team, but he's not coming back for the rest of the season, he's done, you know what I mean? You may be able to sign a player to your roster, right? Probably a guy on a veteran's minimum, So, we'll see how it goes for the New York Knicks.
Because in regards to protocols and quarantines, I would think these leagues and their protocols for quarantine would have to fall in line with states. Myself, I was hit with the COVID flu. There's a difference with these viruses. And I was quarantined under Oregon state law for 7 days. And I was fortunate enough to have spent part of it at the VA hospital in Portland. But this, again, state laws would affect these protocol times because everybody's talking. At least the impression I'm getting is that they're trying to get these guys out back like next game, and that's not realistic.
Right. Exactly. And first of all, let me say, I'm glad you're healthy. You know what I mean? Glad you're healthy. So thank goodness for that. Thank God for that. But yeah, I don't know, man. And every time we turn around, every single day, somebody's popping up and they're in a health and safety protocol. And it's not just happening in the NBA. It's happening everywhere.
Yes, it is.
Everywhere.
Yes, I was going to say here in North Carolina, one of the local news broadcasts opened up their show with the Hurricanes and their protocol issues. I think they got back to playing again. The way they were describing it is like really, really tight for the NHL. I don't know. But when your local news opens up with the protocols of a National Hockey League team, wow.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
And last thing, that the kid in Westchester who used to be with the Spurs,
Luka.
You think there's a good chance, based off the protocols, he could be called up?
Well, I saw rumors somewhere that he got hurt. I don't know. You know, I don't know I don't know what the extent of it is or anything like that. But, you know, I seen somewhere, well, I don't know. So I have to do a little bit more research to see if he's even available to play because of injury or not. But I saw somewhere that he got hurt. So I don't know what the extent of that injury is if he did get hurt.
Because the rest of this next few, I don't know, I got this crazy feeling we're going to be looking at another shutdown among some sports leagues.
Right.
And even looking at the crowd in tonight's game, matter of fact, I'm in the middle of watching a replay. Do you remember how the stands look at the Toyota Center wherever the Rockets play? Dude, it was like nobody there.
I know. According to Steph Bondy, Luka Samanic is still out with a left foot injury. I think he hurt his foot on December the 4th or something like that. So he's still out. You know what I mean? So right now, I wouldn't expect him to come up and play. Jericho Sims.
Yeah.
If necessary, he might play. It would be nice for the Knicks to have a stretch five out there, though.
Yeah, that's what as I've been saying. I want to see what I keep calling for. And you just said I'm old. Allow me that. I'm old, number 45. But that would be nice. And even put in the rotation because New Orleans went to early foul trouble in tonight's game. Robertson came in. So bringing in 45, that would be nice. Matter of fact, what is the roster number now? We got how many available?
Man, looking at the bench tonight, when you looked at the bench, when Derrick Rose was back in the locker room, there's Emmanuel Quickly on the bench.
Yeah.
Mitchell Robinson was on the bench. Taj was on the bench. Wayne Selden was on the bench. Kemba was on the bench. And maybe I seen one other person there. I don't remember. But the Knicks did not have a lot of people available tonight. As a matter of fact, let me read this off. I can tell you right now who else was on the bench for the New York Knicks. And obviously, Derrick Rose went out. Kemba Walker, Wayne Selden, and then Derrick Rose went out. So that's all you got. So if Derrick Rose is not there, on the bench, you got Mitch, Quickly, Taj, Wayne Selden, and Kemba.
All right.
Looking light.
And this definitely will be my last thing. That fourth quarter lineup. Would you, if you were the coach the next game, would you take the chance and put those 5 out for your next game?
You're talking about Boston. I mean, right now, and assuming that you have, guys like RJ and Quentin Grimes out the game, yeah. He doesn't like Evan Fournier in the fourth quarter because Evan Fournier gives too many defensive lapses. Too many.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's not feeling happy.
Everybody knows if you're going to win a championship, you got to play D.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Hey,
I
my man. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you for taking my calls.
No doubt.
Like I always say, man, you are so polished.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I try. I work at it. But I thank you. I appreciate that.
Night, man.
Good night, brother. man, this COVID thing, man. I just seen somebody say, Jay Williams, he said people act like COVID is over. And it's definitely not. He said it's not. Players, protect yourselves. Yeah, you're right, man, because, man, I mean, all across the league, players are going down like crazy. Not going down, but going into health and safety protocol. Either they came into contact with someone or they've got it themselves. Yeah. Do you think that there's a chance that we have another stoppage in play due to COVID-19?
I do, man. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, like, if it hits certain players and it keeps on rolling through the league like this, of course. I mean, at some point, we got to say, listen, there's a new wave rolling through here. It's affecting players and also, like, media staff as well. Like, Rebecca Harlow's in protocols right now. And the thing that we need to be mindful of is, like, it doesn't necessarily always come down to irresponsibility on one person's part. Sometimes, you're rolling through the airport. That's a big hub of people, that one person is not doing the right thing. One person is not not obeying the safety protocols, and they connect with another one, and then some people might have symptoms and some don't. So people think they're all good, and then someone gets sick, and we need to have an abundance of caution because this is something that's taken lives before and can continue to do so. And as long as it keeps on mutating, we're going to have to try to stay ahead of this issue until we can get it all the way handled. A stoppage in play probably wouldn't occur until it gets to, like, a critical point where multiple teams and multiple conferences are missing so many players that there's game cancellations or postponements. I think I saw news about a potential postponement of a game. I forget which matchup that was.
Well, there was. I think it was it Chicago and Detroit? I don't remember who it was. But it was definitely Chicago. I don't remember who they were playing, but there was definitely a postponement.
It was some Eastern Conference team. And if we have to keep on doing postponements and cancellations, it would be hard to execute a bubble now.
Oh, yeah.
Because Disney, and all that, like, we'd have to find a place, a site, get everyone to sign up to isolate from their families and do all that over again. Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of season left to go. Mm-hmm. A lot of season left to go. So yeah.
I think what would happen is they would probably go back to less fans in the stands and all of that kind of stuff. Walter White, Chicago postponed 2 games, exactly. Because they had like 10 players out. They had like 10 players out or something crazy.
Yeah, you see, when stuff like that happens and you can't even get enough guys in active status to execute a game, whether it be a lopsided matchup or not, that's when you got to start asking, all right, like, in the interest of fairness and maintaining the integrity of the entertainment product and being mindful of safety for people.
Exactly.
Then we're gonna have to put a stoppage in.
Yeah.
But then you gotta ask yourself, look at what happened when we had a stoppage, came back, and the season ended later than it was supposed to. Look at how little time off people got. And then look at what happened in terms of injuries in that following next season early on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of moving parts and factors to consider here. And they're going to come for their money one way or another.
Right. And another one of the factors to consider is when you close down arenas and, the people that really get hurt are the folks that's working,
They're working.
that's your security guards and people handling the tickets and selling the tickets and people selling the food and all of those. They're the ones who really really get hurt. And it's nobody's fault. What can you do? It's nobody's fault, but it's tough, bro. It's tough.
In the midst of the first quarantine shutdown, I was working in event facilitation, right? And I was working out of hotels. Everybody from the hotel got sent home, and the only people that were there working were the essential staff, some upper management, and they would distribute the hours among the entire security staff. So guys were getting like the bare minimum of hours. And if I'm not mistaken, some people were getting just enough to not be able to get certain benefits. And that's where it gets into a gray area too. Some people, like, it'd be better off being laid off or furloughed or what have you entirely than being brought in at a limited capacity.
Yeah.
These arenas are still big centers that need to be protected. So you would have the bare minimum of security. You wouldn't have anybody working the box office, and concessions would be entirely gone.
Yeah.
And that's who is going to feel it.
Right. And listen, the NBA is already exploring modifications to COVID-19 protocols. This is according to Vincent Goodwill from Yahoo Sports. Here's the article. He says, in the wake of more COVID-19 diagnoses across the NBA, the league is looking into modifying current protocols, sources told Yahoo Sports. The NBA and the NBPA are exploring multiple options and restricting outside access for teams in visiting markets. And that's not out of the question. Outside access for teams in visiting markets, it's not out of the question. That was the protocol last season before the COVID-19 vaccines became readily available, and unvaccinated players already follow stringent protocols. The new likely protocols will include players being tested daily, except for their days off. Currently, players are tested weekly. Yeah.
That's stressful.
It is. The Raptors will have their arena at 50% capacity. They just announced this. But right now, no other teams have taken such measures. But you know what? Once one team does it, others are going to follow. There's no doubt about it.
It doesn't surprise me at all, because Canada don't play around when it comes to this.
Yeah.
This whole situation. And they even had to go play in Tampa for a good minute and not even patronize their own home market just to curb the potential spread and to remain compliant with the policies in their home country, because they couldn't have people traveling in and out the country until restrictions were lifted. That's why they came to Tampa Bay in the first place.
Right. And right now, as for Christmas, according to the article, says with the Christmas slate of games upcoming, the NBA doesn't want to risk cancellations for the biggest day on the TV calendar, but it's not ready to completely restrict outside movement. So we're just going to watch and follow and see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Watch and follow and see what happens there. Anyway, the New York Knicks get a big win tonight, 116-103 over the Houston Rockets. Next, they play the Boston Celtics. And I'm going to head up out of here, but quickly, your thoughts on this Celtics game, Savvy, and do you think the Knicks can go there and pull out a victory?
I think we definitely can. We're going to have to be on our A game. And when I say that, we're going to need the same decision-making prowess from Emmanuel Quickly that we saw tonight. He was very selective with which shots he took and which ones he passed up, and I think we're going to need that. We're going to need him to drain that shot the same way he did. Hopefully Deuce can give us something similar to what he gave us tonight, or at least just give us the same defense. Julius Randle shows up again, and I think those three things withstanding give us a very good chance to take the dub, because it'll open up space for guys like Mitch to get that lob. And if we run that set that we had with Burks, Mitch, Taj, Emmanuel, and Deuce, I think that'll be a very interesting squad to run against the Celtics. and curb our size problem with so many guys out. So A game on Saturday. I'm glad we have a day in between, and we got to go in there and just wreak havoc out the gate.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think that it's going to be a drag 'em out type of game, a barn burner probably. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tough. If Miles McBride is starting, I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. I'd like to see him go up against Marcus Smart. That's an interesting matchup. You know what I mean? An interesting matchup. And this could be I don't want to say an eye opener for McBride. This could be his entrance to the NBA where someone's like, hey, you went up against a tough guy, a tough defender, and you did your thing and you held your own. And that right there is what could make Tom Thibodeau say, I got to rock with this dude. You know what I'm saying?
And it's not a bad guy for him to get an up-close look at what he was doing on the floor.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, two defensive guys who can give you a bucket.
Yeah.
Who better to learn on the job from? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And he can come out, play tough. You don't got to have crazy wild numbers. Come out, play tough, get the team going, still facilitate and help the Knicks win a gritty game or just be in a gritty game. That'll be a wake-up call to Tom Thibodeau and everyone else on the team that, maybe this guy is the one that we need out there. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that.
If we keep it under 12 turnovers, we have a good shot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Deuce versus Smart.
Yeah, buddy.
Pete, I don't even want to say, I'm going to say Pete P. I don't want to say your last name because, I don't want to butcher it, but Pete P. Double P. He said that should be fun. Deuce versus Smart. It should be. It should be Smart. And Pete, is that your last name? Pete, if you ever get
Panagiotopolis.
Oh, hey, you know what? I think you got it. Savvy. Panagiotopolis. Pete, if you can call in, maybe not today, call in another time. Tell us if Savvy said your last name right. But I think you said it right. Panagiotopolis. Yeah.
The man. I've been around a lot of weird names. Not saying that.
Oh my gosh! Weird, oh, come on, Savvy! I wasn't trying to do that to the guy. I was just trying to say
complicated names. No,
complicated.
It's a Greek name. It's a Greek name. You know what I'm saying? But I've been around a lot of foreign names. I pride myself on pronunciation of names.
Great.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, Panagiotopolis. I think you got it right.
Salute to Pete.
Yeah, double P. Double P in the building. Yeah, he's sorry. He didn't mean it that way. He came out the wrong way.
I didn't mean it like that.
He didn't mean it that way. Double P in the building. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. We're up out of here. Catch me tomorrow on the shoot around, where I want to have some good, lengthy discussions about the decisions that Tom Thibodeau has to make soon. That's what I want to talk about. The decisions that Tom Thibodeau has to make with this roster, because he's got to make some tough decisions. All right, he's got to make some tough ones. All right, we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Double P said, we're good. We're good. He said, we're good. Thank you, Double P. Thank you, Double P. We appreciate you.
We ain't thin-skinned around here. That's what's up.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Salute to the Knicks chat, the MBK family. Tune into the shoot around tomorrow. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is quality content. And when the going get tough, the tough get coaching. Let's get it.
Yeah, no doubt. We out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Check us out on the shoot around tomorrow. Be peaceful, spread love, and all that good stuff. Be safe out there. Be safe.
This is MBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is MBK, nothing but Knicks.